Usually I do a final score graphic, but I kind of want to do a this graphic. Somebody I watch it closely because I went to the same school as him, and I'm a grade behind him, so I really got to see the guy really up closely. There isn't a quarterback I didn't see up closely more, and all the arguing OU fans did about him and Texas fans to him and Archer's clearly better than he'll ever be, but um, all the stuff that people argue about, I saw him as close as anybody could have seen him. And I always said he wasn't going to be all that. But I will say this: I just want to start on the Auburn side of things. I think Auburn has a lot of issues offensively that I didn't expect. Uh, they're running more of a veer and shoot offense, and maybe that was just the game plan today, but it felt more veer and shoot than I feel like I've seen in the past. Um, it kind of felt like I was watching Tennessee more than I was, And I said, I mean, this is the first I really watched Auburn up close, like like they've been hard to watch in the past. But I just remember them running an offense like this at such extreme veer and shoot. Felt like last year. Like I said, really felt like I was watching Tennessee. And I don't know what that is, or maybe it's just me and I'm just catching on to their offensive scheme and what they really do. But that was interesting to me. Want to see how that progresses of the season. I really am concerned about them throwing the ball. I just didn't see it. I didn't see a lot of the throws that I want to see. I think they did exactly what people expect Auburn to do versus Baylor, which is um, they mauled Baylor in the trenches. I mean, and that's why I want to show this graphic because if you're Baylor, you got to be embarrassed. I don't know what the game plan was. It just goes like Cincinnati too. I don't know what the game plan was for Baylor going into this game. I mean, for the season. But man, are they going to struggle because they can't stop the run? I mean, I don't see it this year. That's going to hold them back. I mean, and just to be honest, just like Cincinnati, I will continue to say it is bad. Like portal manager are these coaches again. I mean, I say coach, but again, Cincinnati with their receivers. Now it's Baylor with their D linemen. I mean, Baylor had a Dante Corleone and some of the D linemen. Cincinnati got they would have they Baylor about to won this game, right? But I think Baylor has major issues in the interior. They lost that one number zero. I forgot his name because he didn't really get to make a name for himself. Page Marshall. I remember him in NCAA portal. Shout out to NCAA. Please make a better game, EA. Please make a better game than what you've been doing. Please, and don't let them get college basketball because they're gonna ruin that crap too. Make subpar play. Please don't. Don't let EA get college basketball. Please don't. But that's the point. Remember Page Marshall for NCAA. He didn't get to play it, but I'm not sure. He's a three technique, and he's a little of a small. That he's not necessarily a big one technique, zero technique, nose, one run stopper in the middle. He put at 1-0, put out a one technique, zero technique, let him go stop the run. He's not that guy. And even then, you need to have more than that. It just I know that Cooper Lane's also a Denton Guy Wildcat, so that was wild too to see. As somebody went to Denton Guy, but I just don't understand like what Baylor did in the portal, where they have no mass in the middle of the defense, just nothing. I mean, they couldn't. It isn't just Auburn. This ain't just Jackson. This is the whole. Everybody ran the ball today. Jackson, Demar Alston, and Jeremiah Cobb, who I said, watch out for those two. They'll be one of the top running back duos in the country. They were that today. I thought it'd be a duo. I didn't think it'd be a trio. So that's where I'm shocked at. 32 attempts for 313 yards, 4 touchdowns between Jackson Arnold, Demar Alston, and Jeremiah Cobb is ridiculous. That single-handedly won Auburn the game flat out. I again, it just goes back to mass. Like they're running it. Like you got to have mass in the middle to free up your linebackers, and Baylor just couldn't. Like they really could not free up their linebackers and their DBs to come make plays in the run game, and it doesn't have any mass in the middle of the. I don't know what the rating ran. Who's coaching the SEC? And by the way, that defense that he had wasn't all that anyways. But I just understand why you have no mass. Like I just don't understand they have no mass in the interior. Baylor's gonna have a very hard time stopping the run this year. Auburn just put up the game plan. You don't even got to throw versus these dudes. If you could just run, you might just win the damn game yourself. Because it got to a point in the second half when Auburn just instilled they will. Like they just like, okay, we don't even have to run. We don't even have to throw it because or make Jack because it doesn't matter. And I will say this too. I thought Baylor was too soft. Like if you know, hey, I can't run the ball. We can't let it run with what we got in the middle. I'm just gonna go man to man on the outside, man to man. Whoever, if there's one or two guys in the slot, man to man with the tight end. I'm bringing my safeties down. I'm bringing my backers down. I'm playing 4D linemen, and I'm gonna make them throw the ball versus man-to-man coverage. Like I'm gonna take chances like that. I feel like Baylor didn't do enough of that. I'm bringing like they just didn't do enough to me. They just kind of sat back like, okay, we're gonna play with our two linebackers, or we're gonna play with our 40 linemen, and we're gonna see how it turns out. And I'm like, to me, it's like bring even if you play one high safety, bring a safety down and add to the box. Like you got to be a little more aggressive if you're gonna have a lack of mass in the ass. If you're Baylor, and they just didn't do that. And I don't understand. I feel like it could have been more aggressive to stop the run, especially because like I think one point in the game, Auburn's averaging 7 yards a carry. I mean, Auburn's not much averaging a first down a carry. I can't even explain how bad Baylor's run defense was, but it was so predictable. Auburn was going to run the ball on first down. So if you know, okay, first down, Auburn's definitely going to run the ball. I'm definitely bringing a single high safety. I'm bringing the safety down in the box. I'm going to come stop the run. And if it takes two, I'm bringing two. And I'm playing man on the backside. I am not letting Jackson Arnold beat me with his legs. I'm going to make me beat him with his arm. Yes, Cam Coleman is elite. Yes, Eric Singleton. Yes, Malcolm Simmons. But they have to have a quarterback to get them the ball. I don't understand why Dave Moran is supposed to be a defensive-minded guy, defensive guru, why that's so hard for him to understand. I'm really disappointed in what I saw from defensively. This is a game they should have and probably could have won. So I will say this: Jackson didn't impress me throwing the ball, but he did impress me and shock me running the ball with his legs. A lot better runner than we really saw. I saw of him in high school, and a lot of people saw him in high school. And maybe they should have used him more like that in high school with a real scheme. But I think this shows you a lot for Auburn, whereas like his legs are gonna keep him alive a lot this season. But the next thing too is he's gonna have to throw the ball because teams like Georgia and other teams like that, Vanderbilt, they're gonna make you run. They're gonna make you throw it. You're not gonna run down their throats. So Vanderbilt, those teams are gonna make you throw it, and you're gonna have to make the throws. And I don't know if I want to see if Jackson could do that. Like what does the passing offense look like when that comes down to that? So that's my first thing. And then when it comes to Baylor, I will say this about Baylor. Dave Miranda and Sawyer. I would say Sawyer Robinson is phenomenal. Again, reminds me just like Barrett. The only difference between him and Brandon Sawyer is he has actual receivers and he has a tight end. Michael Trigg may be a first round pick. That dude's phenomenal. I think Baylor is really a scary team to me. They remind me of the old Oklahoma teams where they're gonna have to win because of their offense. I will say this: if Baylor can somehow stop the run, and just find a way to load the box and make people throw it, their defense could be good enough. But Baylor got to win some with their offense because that's what their strength is. I will say this: Ashton Hawkins, you have a day, young man. Josh Cameron, have a day. And I forgot the other kid, Cole, number 2, have a day, young man. Michael Trigg, have a day. Like I will say this about Baylor's offense. What a day they had. Sawyer Robinson looks phenomenal. He looks like a guy I could definitely see being in the Heisman Conference. I'm being dead serious. Like he looks that good. Like that was a phenomenal day for him. The throws he's making was ridiculous. He stuck it out to the very end. He just throws dots. It's like Rocco Beck, just like Brendan Sorsby. The Big 12 probably might have the best quarterback play that anybody else in the country. That was really high level throws he was making. Baylor fans should not be disappointed in their offense. But they shouldn't be discouraged. Like this offense is gonna in the Big 12. Like it ain't like you can get away with having you can get away with just winning games offensively. Oklahoma did it for the longest while. Oklahoma had the worst defense in America year in and year out with Lincoln Riley, and they still won the Big 12 every single year, dang near. So, or at least we're in it and making college football playoffs. So it really doesn't matter. Like you can still win with it. So Robinson looks amazing. Ashton Hawkins looks amazing. Josh Cameron came on really late, and that kid talk about like I don't know what he needs in the build. I don't know if he has it in the game. But talk about not like what they would say what makes guys go from good to elite is the guys who don't go down on first contact or guys who takes more than one guy to tackle them. And you're not bringing Josh Cameron down with one guy. It's gonna take your whole team to bring Josh Cameron down. Michael Trigg, finally, I'm so glad it's almost like a Reed Gilbert, like him and Reed Gilbert on the same kind of career path where it's like okay, y'all are extremely talented, could be first round picks, but y'all got to get your attitude right and take this stuff seriously. And sadly for Reed Gilbert, I don't know if he's done that yet. I don't know where he's at. Zion Harmon's another one in basketball. If you know, you know. But so happy for Michael Trigg because no one is shocked. Well, not say shocked. People are shocked. But ask anybody that followed recruiting or Michael Trigg's career, like the talent has always been there. It ain't about a talent. It's just like these dudes that go to JUCO who are big time recruits. It ain't talent. It's attitude and mentality. And Michael Trigg is finally in confidence, but not cockiness, and just not getting too emotional, that kind of stuff, and just putting in the work every day. And Michael Trigg has absolutely done that. This dude looks like a first round pick. I'm not sure if he's a tight end or a receiver, but either way, Dudes like that, they're gonna find a place for you at the next level. He's a stud. He was amazing today. Baylor could not cover him, but Baylor couldn't cover. Auburn could not cover him. And I will say this about Auburn: DJ Draken, I'm on my last straw with you. I really am concerned about this Auburn deal. That's my next thing. To have the talent they have in that secondary, you got Radion Strader, Caden Lee, Jay Crawford. I just named three dudes that could all be All Americans, or at least should be all SEC level dudes. And from even last season, I'm talking about them now. They've already put that on film, and they looked horrible. I mean, that defense couldn't stop a parked car. If my nose are bleeding, DJ Durkin's defense couldn't stop it. Like, that's how bad that Auburn defense was. Like, I really am shocked for the talent they have, and not just talent, but production. It ain't just like tight ends. These dudes have shown. Like, that's why we know their names, because they made plays, and it's just like they got torched today. Baylor had 64 rushing yards and 400 yards passing. Like, Sir Upson had. I mean, when I'm calling you, oh, you look like you could win a Heisman. I mean, I can tell you something. Michael Triggle's unguardable today. The lack of adjustment from Baylor to me was really shocking. They just played man. Now Baylor did also like Auburn run a veer and shoot. Tennessee again, but I feel like both of us I was watching Tennessee. In a way, they go as if not complete Tennessee, but similar to Tennessee's offense and what they run, veer and shoot esque. But either way, I mean, they just played. They just I guess when they get in this veer and shoot situations, they play these offenses that runs veer and shoot, and they spread you out like that. I guess Auburn's like, oh, we're playing man. And Baylor's like, okay, play man. We're gonna shred you in man. We have dudes who are better men than your. Our men are better than your men. And that's what Baylor did. They were better than their men. And so I just was so disappointed in DJ Durkin. This is the year for him to break out. I also think this though. I think Auburn needs to get in the 4-man front. You have too much defensive line depth and talent. I got it when you didn't have it. Like, that's why they run the Big 12, because they don't have the depth to really, put as many D linemen, that kind of stuff. In the SEC, I don't understand why 3-3-5 would be your main defense when Auburn is loaded with D line talent and depth. And I just feel like they didn't have enough talent. They got past it because they're just so that much talented, that many good players. But it's like you have enough on the interior. You have enough exterior guys where you could play a 4. You could play 8. You could have at least ones and twos between D tackle and you could play probably 6 D tackles and 4 or 5 defensive ends, probably more than that. Like, you have the depth in the D line to play a 4-2-5. Play it. Like, I feel like if they would have played with a 4-man front, they would have been a lot more successful defensively, especially in the pass rush game. I don't understand Auburn just still rushing 3 dudes on. I don't understand. This is not the Big 12. Like, you don't have Big 12 talent. You have NFL, SEC talent. So play like it. Don't play like you're talent deficient on defense. Play like And their 3-5, they look like I don't understand. They look like they never run a 3-5 day in their life. They looked horrible. They just played man, and it stunk. So I was disappointed DJ Durkin. He to me is on his last straw. You've got to take a step with this defense. If this defense doesn't take a step this year, I don't know when to take ever will with you. So I'm looking at DJ Durkin as somebody this season that needs to move the needle with Auburn. If he doesn't, I'm looking at him to put him on the door out, because you need defense to win games, and you're not going to win games with the way they played defense today. They were horrible. Again, just man to man, and they got beat every single time. And the thing is too, he never adjusted. Like, it was never any zone. He didn't mix anything up. Then one fourth down, the safety is just sitting there looking at Sawyer Robinson, and the guy and Kobe Prentice just runs right by him and catches the ball for a touchdown. It's like, I don't even know. Like, does Auburn do they have chemistry? Their defense look like they have. It looks like they just put a bunch of talented dudes together and said, "Go play football." And there's no chemistry, there's no connectivity, there's no eye discipline, there's nothing. Like, and it's like, just go play and see if y'all can figure it out. Like, I don't know, and then you don't adjust full court, you play the same man principles, and you don't ever adjust to nothing. You don't ever do a 4-man front, and then you doing 5-man fronts, and they're pitching the ball to the outside, getting the ball to the outside, and they're getting first downs. Like, it felt like, I thought I played people on NCAA who ran a better defensive scheme than DJ Durkin and Auburn. So that's the best way I could put it, and it's insulting, and it should be, because that defense is insulting. For how much NIL money they've committed to that defense and that team, there's no excuse. Same thing for Hugh Freeze, why that defense should look so bad. If that defense can you like that, Auburn's NIL donors might as well just take their money and put it in a bonfire, because that's what it's going to become if that defense doesn't step up, because they're wasting NIL money at that point. They're too talented. Too many good dudes on that team. Get to a 4-man front. Have different checks and calls. And don't just be predictable. You've got to be able to mix it up. You got to be able to mix it up, and not just be able to be a man to say, we're struggling, and man, we've got to get out of it. You got to get out. We got to get in something else, or we got to do something else with a defensive front, or bring more pressure. Let's get in a four-man front. We're going to play man, try to get pressure on the quarterback, more pressure on the quarterback. I think Auburn needs to get in a four-man front. That's a big thing. But Auburn's defense look horrible, and when it comes to pass, it's really funny. Like Baylor's defense struggles stopping the run, and then Auburn's defense struggles stopping the pass. So it's like two complete opposites. But either way, both defenses had a major struggles that really could have lost either one of them in the game. And that kick return touchdown was also massive by Rashawn Pleasant. I will say that kid was a stud Tulane. I think he's going to be again. There's too much time. He's not even starting for them. I have to go through Caden Lee, Jay Crawford, Radion State before I even get to Rashawn Pleasant, who's a stud at Tulane, and just show how good of a player he is, level athlete to be on kick return. Before I even get to Rashawn, I just named four corners who really should be dominating for you and are studs. He was a stud at Tulane and Tulane had a real scheme. So it's too much time on Auburn to not be elite defensively. If they're not elite, they're needs to go. I don't know where he's got him from, but he needs to let him go. And I always said that the biggest thing for offensive-minded coaches is hiring the guy opposite of the ball that's not your expertise. The opposite of the ball that you're used to dominating. And when it comes to offensive coaches, Lincoln Riley, and some of these guys, Lane Kiffin, they struggle to hire great defensive minds. And I think that's the difference between Sark and the rest of the offensive-minded guys. Sark hasn't struggled to hire the right defensive mind. So I think Auburn gets out of it with a win, but I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't be so. I'm not sold on this Auburn team. Like, they have a long way to go, a lot more to show, and Jackson and them need to show more in the passing game. And like I said, I'm really shocked. I gotta look back at Auburn's old film from last year. But I don't remember them being felt like a larger Tennessee offensively. I don't remember them being like that. So definitely something to watch. But Baylor, just to finish on them, offensively, they're going to be in every game because of their offense, and they can win a lot of games because of it. It's a tough schedule. They got to go to SMU next week in Dallas, not too far from me. They're already not too far. Actually, they might be farther from me now when they go to SMU. But either way, neither of those teams are too far from me, which is cool. I will definitely need to catch some games in the future, even as a Texas fan. But they're going to go to SMU next week. That's tough. SMU's the team I would probably have my college playoff bracket right now. I think that's probably a loss, especially with the way that defense looks. You can't have the run right last year. His offense, Kevin Jennings, they're going to beat you. And they can actually throw the ball. So we haven't even seen what that bigger pass defense is like, but it may be an issue. We have to be seen. No, we'll see. But Kevin Jennings is a lot better quarterback, and Kevin Jennings can foul run. You think that's all he can run? And Red Lashley's an offensive mastermind, and he didn't have a quarterback full of deficiencies. He has a quarterback full of efficiencies, who's efficient. So I think that's a loss for Baylor. So that's tough, but I will say that I think the back end of the schedule is going to be really where Baylor can get hot. I think I think they have, let me show, I can put it right now for everybody. We can all look. I was looking at it earlier. Baylor's schedule. Yes, they have SMU next week. It's tough, man. It's tough. 11 a.m. I'll be up early for that one. And trust me, I'm analyzing with the games I can watch. I'm gonna give y'all a breakdown. So I'll be back to break that down. But look, Arizona. You get Sanford and you get Arizona State. Baylor really didn't, they don't have much breaks early in the season. But look, I think Oklahoma State should be a win. I think K-State should be a win. If they can figure out this run game thing. And sort of the offense can stay up to par. Avery Johnson, and if they could just figure out how to stop the run and just do somewhat better and just do somewhat better stopping the run, they could beat K-State. But I think Oklahoma State should be a win. If they can figure out to stop the run, and by the time they get to K-State, that should be a win. TCU should be a win. Cincinnati should be a win. UCF should be a win. Arizona win. Houston win. I think the two big games for me, honestly, would be Utah because Utah has an SEC. Well, they'll be one of the best offensive lines in the country. They're going to be up for the Joe Moore. They're that good. Utah offensive line's elite, and I just saw you get run over by Auburn's offensive line. So again, a lot of Baylor season content. Can they stop the run? Big principle in football. That'll be big for that Utah game. But also Devin Dampier, I don't trust Dampier with his arm. If they could just stop the run and get Dampier to throw the ball and make him beat him with his arm, I think they could pull off a win there. So if you look at it, if they can, again, same thing with Avery Johnson, stop the run, make him beat him with his arm, that's when things get dicey for Avery Johnson. That could be a win. That could be a win. You could be 9-3, and if you can find a way to split, if they can split this Arizona State and SMU, if they can split one of these two games and go 1-1 here, you're looking at a team that could run the table and go 10-2. Be in the college football playoff, in the Big 12 championship game. In the Big 12 championship, at least you have a discussion to be in the college football playoffs. So I think I'm a Baylor fan. I'm looking to split between SMU and Arizona State. If you don't, I think you're on the outside looking in for the college football playoffs in the Big 12. We'll see. I won't contract for it because the Big 12 is wide open. My team may get you in, but I think at this point where they're at, I want to split SMU and Arizona State because I think the rest of these as leave it to the quarterback. What he's improved too. I want to see him throw the ball better, but um, you need to split. And I think SMU will be a loss. So I think they need to go win this Arizona State game. It'll be tough, but you're gonna have them at home and stuff like that. And they're not they don't we'll see what they have this year. Team wise, could be an offensive shootout. But y'all need to split Arizona State and SMU. Win one of those two games, and you could be 10-2. And you can all the rest of these games are not teams that are like TCU. The only team that can give a run for their money is maybe Houston, but Utah, TCU, K State. And I think K State could get by, Utah get by, and then TCU would be the other team that has a real quarterback to throw at Josh Hoover. That could end up being a shootout. I think it's a rivalry too, actually, Baylor and TCU. But I don't know. But like I said, it's a winnable schedule. This is definitely a schedule you can go 10-2 on, flat out. It is, but it's available for Baylor. But they've got to stop the run. If they can stop the run, they can be a 10-2 team and they can be in the college football playoffs. It's flat out what it is. If they don't, this team could easily go from 10-2 college football playoff, Big 12 championship level team to 8-4, 9-3. So it's about what Miranda and their staff decide to come up with. But I definitely think in the offseason, Miranda needs to go address through high school and portal D tackle. You need to get some mass in the middle of your defense, man. You've got to. And he should know that as a coach, somebody that coaching the SEC. You should already know that in general, but as a coach, somebody that coaching the SEC, you should know that, man. But his defense was not special at LSU. People don't understand that. He wasn't a special defense at LSU. Just had some special players. It was never really. I always said that defense was not all that. 2020 Bama would have ran through that crap like crap through it. Didn't care, as Nick Saban would say. But that's it. Auburn, Baylor. Auburn wins. They literally run over Baylor. So see y'all next one.